right. At the end of it all, when you find out many, many years later that the Gulf of Tonkin was a false flag, you're like, what?
Which they didn't even need in order to be right. But then you find out, you're like, oh, the whole thing was
the whole thing. And then you go, what did you guys do with all that heroin money?
Yeah.
Where did all that money go? Because if I was the government and I was willing, just imagine if Eisenhower's correct, which is insane. How could he be? And that there was a real influence of military-industrial complex. If I was the military-industrial complex and I was willing to fucking start a war with North Vietnam for no fucking reason, so 100%, I'm going to kill X amount of people and a bunch of Americans, and then you're going to actually make these people, these Americans, you're going to draft them and force them to go because they don't want to go. You don't think I'd sell heroin?
Like that would be your line?
Do you think
narcotic?
Well, hold on. How much are these guys making?
Yeah.
How much are these fucking dudes making? How much?
A lot.
How many billions? This is what percentage of the world's heroin supply? And then when you see the same trick played out in Afghanistan, when you my favorite was Geraldo Rivera interviewing the troops, rationalizing why they had to guard the poppy fields.
Yeah.
We have to guard the heroin.
Yeah.
For the good folks.
Well, I couldn't. This heroin falls into the wrong hands. It could be lethal.
There's no way America would sell this heroin.
Yeah.
There's no way. The output of heroin out of Afghanistan, I want to say it was a 96% increase. 80% global supply.
You're exaggerating, Joe. It's only 80%.
No. It was responsible for 80%.
Ooh, yeah.
They were responsible for most of the global supply of heroin, and the production went up after we invaded. So opium poppy, which grows extensively in Afghanistan's southern fields, contains main opium ingredient used to manufacture heroin. Afghanistan was previously the world's top opium producer, responsible for over 80% of the global supply and a major source of heroin in Europe and Asia. So how much did it go? Oh, plunges by 95%. When was this? Under the Taliban. Now. That's now. Yeah, see, the Taliban doesn't want everybody on heroin. They want people to get back to work and make Afghanistan great again.
The Taliban just ran on a Trump message.
They fucking kicked out the drug dealers. That's what happened.
Yeah.
They kicked out the drug dealers. Dude, there was a giant part of the supply of heroin to the world. The idea that we are not interested in that at all. We just want to push freedom.
Yeah, and I think even the people I think who are lying about this shit rationalize it in their own head.
Bro, where'd that money go?
Yeah, well, that's
where'd all that heroin money?
Well, I know I was listening to the Mike Baker podcast you had on where you were talking about the money in Ukraine and where it went, and he was like, no, we don't really know where that. I thought one of the funniest things about that
I'll tell
was
you where some of it goes.
Well, that's for sure. I think that's for sure.
The Taliban, it's not, our tax dollars have 100% paid for some cocaine.
Oh, certainly.
The Taliban's successful opium ban is bad for Afghans and the world. The ban is not a counter-narcotics victory and will have negative economic and humanitarian consequences, potentially leading to a refugee crisis. Unlike us leaving in the middle of nowhere, allowing the Taliban to kill all the people we worked with.
But you get my point about how humans can rationalize anything. Like they could just come up with
propaganda. That's propaganda.
Yes, of course.
Bro. That's propaganda.
Yes, that's true. That's also true. But even people who are like, look, I thought
the only way you could say that what that guy made sense is if you're advocating that heroin should be legal.
Yes.
But if you're advocating that heroin should be legal, and this is your full perspective, okay, now I'll accept it. But if you really think that heroin is a scourge, and if you really do appreciate that 100,000 people died last year of opioid overdoses, 100,000 is a real fucking crisis.
Yeah.
If there was a disease killing 100,000 people, we would freak the fuck out.
Well, look, I mean, I do think there's a strong argument for legalization, but there's also a difference between that and the government kind of like sponsoring
this has
the trade
90%,
of it.
90% of heroin globally and more than 95% of the European supply. More land is used for opium in Afghanistan than is used for coca cultivation in Latin America. Bro, you don't think that has something to do with it? Am I silly?
No, I think it's insane to ignore that. I mean, like,
Where's
come on.
that money?
Yeah.
Where's that money?
So I was going to say, dude, Rand Paul, I thought this was so funny. It was during one of the rounds of aid to Ukraine.